Well, the game of the week this week in the NFL is taking place on Thursday night at Arrowhead Stadium, where the 10-3 Chargers, second best record in the AFC, travel to take on a divisional foe, the Kansas City Chiefs, with the best record not only in the AFC West, but the entire AFC, currently holding down the number one seed if the playoffs started today. What's up, everybody? DJ Bucky here. And Buck, when we're looking at this ball game, so much focus on the offenses and all the splash, but there is a lot of substance when it comes to pass rushers for each of these ball clubs.
It is all about knocking the quarterback down. And when you think of this game, you have to think about two of the best young pass rushers in the game, Joey Bosa and Dee Ford. And when I look at Joey Bosa has everything that you want in a premier pass rusher. Speed, quickness, technical skills. He can win inside or outside. He just really attacks your offensive tackle with an array of moves that makes it really, really difficult for you to deal with him. There you see just the quickness, the lateral ability to be able to defeat two blockers on the way to the quarterback. He does it time and time again. And when we looked at him coming out of Ohio State, we both thought that he was the most polished pass rusher and playmaker in football. There you see him again working inside to be able to make a tackle at the line of scrimmage. These are the kind of plays that he makes over and over again when you look at the tape.
Yeah, Joey Bosa just has so many different ways to get home. He can bend. He's physical. You see him right here, Buck, that little inside spin move to get Ben Roethlisberger on the ground. He's just got a variety of ways to get home. He's pretty darn effective at it. We've seen him get his legs underneath him after missing the first part of the season with that foot injury. Now we're starting to see that old Joey Bosa. But the challenge is going to be for the Chargers offense going up against the Chiefs defense. We've known about Justin Houston for years, but you're seeing Dee Ford in a contract year really step up. Justin Houston's missed some games, and you see Dee Ford working here against the Oakland Raiders, working on their right tackle, and you see not only to get off, you see a quick little swipe move. And to get home is one thing, but then to force a fumble once he gets there on Derek Carr, quite another. He's establishing himself really as one of the premier guys in the league. Now you're going to see him working against the Baltimore Ravens. You got Lamar Jackson back there, wants to get a quick pass away. Watch him sniff it out and then redirect and go make the tackle. So tremendous athletes. We're talking about Joey Bosa. You're talking about Dee Ford, tremendous athletes. And each of them have a partner. You've got Melvin Ingram for the Chargers, and you got Justin Houston there for the Chiefs. So the pass rush will go a long way in deciding this game. But who do you like, Buck?
You know, this is a tough game for me, DJ, because I know you can't weigh in. But I think your team, the LA Superchargers, are well positioned to win this one. Kansas City got beat up a little bit last week against the Ravens. I think the Chargers go and get a big win. Big win for them to put themselves at the top of the AFC West.
It's going to be a fun one. I'll be there Thursday night on the call for the Chargers, so I won't pick a winner here, but I am looking forward to a very physical game. The Kansas City Chiefs had to play almost 5 quarters last week against the Baltimore Ravens. Do they have enough left in the tank to take on and beat a Chargers team they've beat 9 times in a row? We'll find out Thursday night. But 2 future Hall of Fame quarterbacks and 2 potential playoff teams could be looking at a little rematch here in the postseason. We're going to see the New England Patriots travel to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers, a matchup we've seen several times over the careers of Ben Roethlisberger and Tom Brady. And, Buck, when we look at this matchup, I think that's where we have to focus, right at the quarterbacks.
Yeah, we have to focus on the quarterbacks. These are 2 teams that really rely on their quarterback to make a ton of plays for them. Tom Brady has always done it. We've seen Big Ben do it. But now, with both teams in the middle of a playoff run, we got to see which quarterback can come out on top.
All right, tell me what you see when you dig into the tape there on Mr. Brady.
Tom Brady has always been one of the more accurate quarterbacks. And when he has all of his weapons around him, he's as good as anybody. Rob Gronkowski is his number 1 offensive weapon. Here we're going to see Gronkowski on a simple bench route, balls out on time. He's too big, too physical, really, really hard to match up with. This is something that the Patriots have done over and over and over throughout Tom Brady's career. Here we're going to see another little matchup. We got Cordell Patterson just going to run a deep post route. And what the Patriots have been able to do this year, run the football to set up big plays and play action. There you see a dart over the top of the defense. The New England Patriots are no longer the team that likes to spread you and shred you. They now are a little more conservative, a little more ball control, but it doesn't stop Tom Brady from being an effective playmaker from the position.
Yeah, maybe the most physical Patriots offense we've seen in a little while. Now they're going up against the Steelers team really is a mess right now, having dropped 3 straight games. But Ben Roethlisberger needs to have a big one. Got hurt in this game against the Oakland Raiders. You watch him right here. Survey the field. The vision is what jumps out to you. Being able to anticipate windows, buy a little extra time, still has that mobility, and deliver a strike right there to his tight end in Jesse James. And Another thing that's been said about this Steelers offense this year, they might have 2 number 1 wide receivers because everybody knows about Antonio Brown, and the league is quickly figuring out how difficult a cover Juju Smith-Schuster is in this offense. You see him right here, contested catch, make an adjustment, high point the football. He's been outstanding after the catch as well. Now, a lot of drama with the Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger coming out of that game against the Oakland Raiders. What took so long for him to get back in the game? They've had to answer these questions, but Bucky, they better get focused right away or they're going to find themselves dropping a 4th straight game. Who do you like in this one?
I'm going to go to Patriots. I just think they own the Pittsburgh Steelers when it comes to head-to-head matchups and how they play. We saw that record, Tom Brady 11-2 against the Steelers in his career. And 2, the Steelers are just lost. They don't have an identity. James Conner's been hurt. They haven't been able to run it. It's all on Big Ben. I just don't think they have enough to get it done.
Steelers have to generate turnovers in this game if they're going to win, and I just don't see the ability to do that. I'm going to go with the Patriots. I was shocked when I looked this up the other day. In the last 6 games, the Pittsburgh Steelers have intercepted 1 pass. That is not going to get it done. You've got to steal some possessions or you're going to lose this ball game. I like the Patriots. They go on the road and get the win in Pittsburgh. This is a desperate Eagles team. It's going to be a challenge for the Rams at home. And Jared Goff, look, he needs to play better than he showed against the Chicago Bears. There were some good things you can take away from it, as you'll see right here. Something Goff's done throughout the year with Robert Woods working in the slot is function in the middle of the field. He's very comfortable, nice, smooth, easy drop, anticipation, nice flat throw out in front where Robert Woods can run after the catch. But, man, it was tough to find highlights in this game against a very good Bears defense that was able to generate pressure and get their hands on footballs. In this one, this is just kind of a trap coverage. Watch Fuller on the outside, and Goff's eyes never leave. Never leave. He's got help over the top, so you know he's free to drive and undercut, and that's exactly what he does for an interception. And then, look, it's not all on Jared Goff with those interceptions. You had one was a Hail Mary at the end of the half, and this is an example of some pass rush just getting in his face. Andrew Whitworth has been outstanding throughout the year, but gets pushed back into Goff's lap, and that's happened a few times recently. I'm not used to seeing that from Whitworth, getting overpowered like that. But some of that pressure in his lap affected Jared Goff, led to some of those turnovers. But, man, Buck, this could be just what the doctor ordered for Goff, to see a Philadelphia secondary that's both depleted and has been shredded by just about everybody they've played.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for both of these teams, the best thing that can happen for them if someone in the backfield gives them some contributions. Obviously, the LA Rams, if Todd Gurley can run the ball successfully, life is easier for him. And because of that, I'm going to go with the Rams in this matchup.
Look, Dak Prescott threw for 4 bills against this Eagles secondary, and I think you're going to see the exact same thing here from Jared Goff. I think the Rams at home, they win, and they might do it in pretty convincing fashion. I like the Rams big. Well, believe it or not, this is a game with the Green Bay Packers traveling to take on the Chicago Bears. Has significance for both teams. We know about the Bears trying to hunt down a bye in the first round of the postseason, but the Packers are still alive. They've got to win this one, though, and this will be interesting, Buck, because when you look at this matchup, Aaron Rodgers has said, remember when they said we can win all of our remaining games, and he named the teams, and the Bears didn't forget that, and they're saying, no, come on in. Come on in. We're not afraid to see Mr. Rodgers here. So this is going to be a fun one to watch.
It is going to be a fun one to watch. You got the Packers playing for a new coach, Joe Philbin, trying to hold on to this job. I guess Aaron Rodgers wants to play, but really this game to me comes down to the Packers' defense against the Bears' offense, and Yari Alexander taking on Allen Robinson on the outside. What we've seen from Alexander is he is going to be a star in this league. Great job of being able to cover, comes down and hits, does a great job of putting himself in a position to make plays on the ball. And so with the Chicago Bears having a quarterback that they sometimes have to protect through play calling, if he can kind of tighten up on the number one option, Allen Robinson, and make Mitchell Trubisky make some tight window throws, you could see the Packers come up with a couple turnovers, and that could be enough to give Aaron Rodgers a chance to win the game.
Alexander, one of our favorites, getting a chance to visit with him in the lead up to the draft, plays with so much swagger, and that's carried over from the college field there to the Green Bay Packers. But he's going to have his hands full with Allen Robinson. You mentioned him, Buck, and he really is a talent-wise is a true number one. Now, not going to blow you away with the number of catches he's got there, but what he does, he can play physical, he can play above the rim, and he can get vertical as well. So to me, I think Alexander's going to find himself in good position because he's so athletic. The challenge is going to be once the ball's put up high up in the air, can you go play it at its highest point? Something Allen Robinson's pretty darn good at. That's going to be a challenge for this team. Buck, this This seems like an easy one to pick when you look at these teams, right? I mean, we're gonna be on the same page here, right? Where are you going?
No, nothing easy about this one. The Green Bay Packers are motivated. More importantly, Aaron Rodgers is motivated.
Come on.
He has his favorite coach in at the head coaching position.
Come on.
I'm going with the Packers in this one. Like, there's something about them. They played their best game once Mike McCarthy was fired. Maybe, just maybe, Aaron Rodgers wants Joe Philbin to be his coach. A little extra effort in this one.
Yeah, I'm interested to see who Mike McCarthy's rooting for in this one. Look, I'm going with the Bears. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. It's a better football team, and I think that defensive front is going to heat up Aaron Rodgers. They're going to get a couple, Buck. They're going to get a couple.
Yeah, but they lost. They were the better football team early in the year, and Aaron Rodgers magically brought them back.
It's not
Same thing happens again.
This one is in Chicago, and the Bears will get their 10th win. This might be the sneaky good game of the week. The 8-5 Dallas Cowboys, red hot, going on the road to take on an Indianapolis Colts team that faced a hot team the previous week and did just fine against the Houston Texans. But I cannot wait to watch this Dallas Cowboys group go up against a Colts team that, while they're a little bit streaky, when they're at their best, the Colts can play with anyone, Buck.
I'm really excited this being a big-time matchup because these are two teams that don't get a lot of attention. And when I look at the Dallas Cowboys, it's all about their linebackers going against Eric Ebron, who has emerged as a young star for the Indianapolis Colts. When I look at the Cowboys linebackers, Jalen Smith, Leighton Vander Esch, and even Sean Lee when he's healthy, the two young fellas, Vander Esch and Jalen Smith, they may be the best 1-2 punch in the second level. Their speed, their quickness, their ability to run down the seams and cover, they make life miserable for quarterbacks because they just don't give you the checkdowns and let you gain and accumulate a lot of yards. I think this is a game where their collective speed could make life miserable for Andrew Luck in the middle of the field.
Yeah, that speed and thing that jumps out to me, they just don't miss tackles. They are a very secure tackling defense, especially those linebackers you mentioned. But, man, they're going to have a challenge here in Eric Ebron. That player coming out of North Carolina that we all loved, and we all wrote up those glowing reports. We had to hide him for a little bit there in Detroit, but they've reemerged. Mine was underneath a couple cushions in the couch, Buck. I pulled it back out, shined it all up, put it in a frame, put it up on the wall. You see there right there, 12 receiving touchdowns, the best in the NFL, and it's a variety of ways he's doing it. He's going up and getting the ball at the highest point. He's running after the catch. He's making people miss. He's been outstanding, and more than anything else, he's on the same page with his quarterback and Andrew Luck. They have a special connection, and they're going to need it in this one. I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to be able to run the football with Ezekiel Elliott. It's going to be up to Eric Ebron and this Colts offense to keep pace.
Look, Eric Ebron's going to have a monster game. He's going to have maybe an Amari Cooper-like game because the Dallas Cowboys are going to be able to run the football, and Amari Cooper has proven to be an unstoppable force since coming to Dallas, but their defense does a good job of keeping the score low. Because of that, I'm going with the Cowboys to win this one.
Something about it, I don't know why, I just can't totally commit and buy in to this Dallas Cowboys team. Got a couple bounces that went their way, a couple calls that went their way.
Come on,
emotional
that's
game,
life.
overtime game. At home, Andrew Luck, Buck, he's the better quarterback, and that's going to be the difference in this one. Eric Ebron, your North Carolina Tar Heel, is going to get in the end zone, and it's going to be a close game. I'm going to say upper 20s, but I like the Colts at home to beat the Cowboys. I love what the NFL did when they put all these division games at the back half of the schedule. And we got a good one here with the New Orleans Saints sitting at 11-2. Look at the record there, 6-7. The Carolina Panthers, they've been reeling, but you can throw those records in the garbage can when these teams get together on a Monday night stage. Buck, this is going to be a fun one to watch.
It is going to be a fun one to watch because we get to watch two new school running backs, Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, get to do their thing on a major stage. And when you look at these running backs, the reason they're the new school backs because they can run it, they can catch it, they can make plays in the passing game. They really puts your defense in a bind. Alvin Kamara has been outstanding. You could argue that he might be their most important offensive weapon outside of Drew Brees. His versatility, his ability to exploit mismatches on the perimeter really makes the Saints offense very, very difficult to defend. He has to touch the ball. I think the magic number is 15. 15 touches for Alvin Kamara typically leads to a win. I want to see the New Orleans Saints feed the pig early and often in this game.
Well, I look at Christian McCaffrey and what he's doing, catching the football out of the backfield, and it's exactly what we saw from him at Stanford. And some people question that. You remember that when he was picked? Some maybe a little bit early there for Christian McCaffrey. Well, he's got 86 catches. He's on record to put up numbers that are going to surpass what Matt Forte did. So he's outstanding in the passing game, and he's showing he can handle a little bit of the load in the run game as well, dropping his pads, running through tackles, making people miss. he's a dynamic player. Now, this has been a really a train wreck here for this Carolina Panthers offense of late, but it hasn't been for Christian McCaffrey. He has been money each and every week. You see it here. That was a blowout game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He showed up. He shows up each and every week. And if they're going to pull this off at home against a team right now sitting in the catbird seat with the number 1 overall seed, Christian McCaffrey needs to have a big game.
He does have to have a big game. The problem with the Carolina Panthers, they're struggling on both sides of the ball. Defensively, they have just been victimized by the big plays. And then on offense, Cam Newton isn't playing great. And Norv Turner, for whatever reason, isn't running Cam Newton inside the 5. I think they have a couple opportunities to score touchdowns, and it doesn't go their way. Give me the Saints. I think they win this one.
Last 3 games, Drew Brees has only combined to throw for 499 yards. He is due for a big game, and I think he finds it in this one. Working against this Panthers secondary, I know it's on the road. It'll be a big-time environment there on Monday Night Football, but Drew Brees ain't losing this one. The Saints, they go in there, they get their 12th win, and hold on to the number 1 seed in the NFC. Well, this is a game that has – well, no, it doesn't have anybody excited, but we're going to talk about it anyways. It's the Lions and the Bills here, Buck. And we look at this ball game. This is about the future and building towards the future. The Lions coming off a big win last week. The Bills coming off a tough, deflating loss there to the Jets. But I look at this Lions football team, the key in this game, you got to find a way to slow down what is the best running quarterback in the NFL in Josh Allen. You can't allow him to go over 100 yards. He's been doing that on just about everybody. Make him throw the football. Make him beat you through the air. That's what Matt Patricia is going to have to devise a game plan to stop. You cannot allow Josh Allen to run around like that.
Look, it's funny because people snickered when I compared him to Cam Newton in the draft because I thought that the Buffalo Bills saw some of that Cam Newton-like playmaking ability, and they have been using it. I think the key for the Buffalo Bills, run. Let number 17 run around and make plays. It has worked for them. Their defense is actually good enough to kind of keep the score down. I like what Buffalo is doing. I like the young quarterback, and even though he has to make some major improvements as a passer, he is making enough plays to give them a chance in the fourth quarter. That's all you can ask for with a rookie starter.
Yeah, I don't know if the casual fan is going to be paying attention to this game, Buck. Maybe if you're in the fantasy football playoffs, you're locked in on this one. I know one thing, though. If you're a fan of either of these teams, you want to see who's going to be a part of your team, who's going to be a part of the future. This is a game that kind of show you that. I don't know who you like in this one, Buck. I know where I'm leaning. Where are you going?
I'm going with the Buffalo Bills. I think the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, they do have something going. It's unfortunate they lost against the Jets a week ago, but Josh Allen is continuing to build some confidence amongst his teammates. I think they get a win.
I think the Bills do as well. I think their defense is a little underrated as well. They make some plays in the back end, the secondary, that turn this game around. I'll go with the Bills to win this ball game home. Big matchup here in the AFC with two teams kind of clinging to their playoff hopes here. That's right, the Cleveland Browns still alive in the postseason, going to take on the Denver Broncos, Buck. And when I look at this Browns team, the key, I mean, look, the way their offense is rolling right now gives you some confidence. Baker Mayfield making good decisions, that's the key. And when you look at the pass rush he's going to face this week, they can speed up your clock a little bit. Sometimes when that happens with a young quarterback, it can affect your decision making. So to me, more than anything else in this ballgame, for the Browns to win this game, decision making for Baker Mayfield is going to be huge.
Look, Baker Mayfield has to play great for his team to win, but Case Keenum has to play great. They paid him a lot of money, and you heard Vance Joseph this week tell him, look, Case Keenum needs to be more of a risk taker. He needs to find a way to push the ball down the field. They have to get points. They can't play conservative. So Case Keenum's been called out. Case Keenum has to play like the guy that they thought they were getting, a guy that played very, very well for the Minnesota Vikings a season ago. Look for him to push the ball down the field. They have to get more explosive plays in the passing game.
All right, who do you like in this game?
I like the Browns in this one, actually. I think the Browns have been playing well. Greg Williams has given them a little discipline, a little structure. Freddie Kitchens has given them a legitimate offense. I like what they're doing. I think they can give the Denver Broncos some problems. Yeah,
you convinced me. I was on the fence on this one. I didn't know which way I was leaning. I was thinking maybe the Broncos because I started buying the Browns and they go on the road and get crushed. I'll do it. Okay, you convinced me. I'm going to go with the Browns. The Browns go on the road, Baker Mayfield, big day, and they get the win over the Broncos. Interesting matchup here. Really two teams that have had a struggle. When you look at the Cardinals going to take on the Atlanta Falcons, I guess you could say we expected it from the Cardinals, maybe not so much from the Falcons. But to me, the key to this ball game for the Cardinals, I want to see development, and I want to see growth. I want to see improvement from Josh Rosen. He's got to improve his decision-making, stop forcing the football. I love every young quarterback wants to make some plays, but just be a little more cautious, a little more careful approach from Josh Rosen. You can't turn the ball over if you're going to win this football game against the Falcons.
Falcons are playing for pride. They're just trying to finish the string out. I mean, everything is falling apart. This is a team that has Super Bowl aspirations, and they just couldn't get it done. Too many injuries, not enough points on offense. And so if I'm Steve Sarkisian, I got to find a way to put some points on the board, man. I got to show something that would justify me returning from my job. So look for Matt Ryan to try and find Julio Jones. Look for this game to be all about the big-time playmakers. They have better players than the Cardinals. They just need to play like that for them to get the win. I'm going to go with the Falcons in this game.
Yeah, look, I don't know. It's tough to pick this game, Buck. I don't know. Neither team's giving you much to believe in, but I'm going to go with the Falcons. I'm going to go with the Falcons because they got better players. But neither one of these teams playing good football right now. I'll go with the Falcons to get it done. A fun game taking place on Saturday evening. The Texans taking on the Jets here, Buck. And to me, when I look at this Texans team, coming off that loss to the Indianapolis Colts, I look at this offensive line. Now, you can put a little bit of this on Deshaun Watson for holding on to the ball too long. But, man, sacks. They're the second most sacked team in the league right now, and 5 sacks last week. They've got to do a better job protecting him. He's got to do a better job of getting the ball out of his hand. He cannot continue to take this punishment. They might be a better football team here, but that's what worries me about this Texans football team going up against the Jets. Yeah, with the Jets, I think you have to be excited about the young quarterback. I'm sure you probably felt like a father beaming with his son, having that big moment when he, on fourth down, made a huge play to kind of lead the Jets to a win. But I think his toughness, his grit, Sam Darnold we're talking about, he has to show up and kind of continue to be the guy that we thought he was going to be early in the season. When he makes these plays, it does kind of give a little energy and jolt throughout the team. I think Sam Darnold just has to be Sam Darnold, live with him throughout the mistakes, but I think everyone understands he's a franchise quarterback. Let the young guy be the franchise quarterback. Oh, you mentioned him. He's been fun to watch. How about a winner, though? You going to stick with those Jets at home to pull the upset? What do you got, Buck? Yeah, I don't think they can pull the upset this week. I'm gonna go with Houston to get back on track. Deshaun Watson, they got to get ready to make a run in the postseason. I think this is a get-right game. I think they get right against the Jets. Yeah, Sam Darnold was able to run around and scramble against the Buffalo Bills. I don't think he'll be able to do that against this Houston Texans front. The Houston Texans, they find a way to get a win on the road here. Big game here with playoff implications for the home team, the Baltimore Ravens, as Tampa Bay Bucks come into town. The scary thing, though, Ravens cannot afford to drop this one. They can't afford to lose another game. They've got the Chargers coming up the week after. So in this game, Tampa, to me, the key to this one, offensively, just jump on the Baltimore Ravens. You've got an explosive offense. Challenge them deep down the field. You saw this Ravens team really extend themselves, having to play almost 5 quarters against the Kansas City Chiefs last week. Could be a little bit tired. I come out firing if you're the Bucs. You're pushing the ball vertically. Be very aggressive. You literally have nothing to lose. I hope they play like that because that's a recipe for disaster. If Jameis Winston is pushing the ball down the field, we're going to see a ton of turnovers. And then the Baltimore Ravens are going to bludgeon the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with this run game. This running game has been awesome since Lamar Jackson's taken over. And they're talking about Joe Flacco also playing. It may be the first time that we see 2, maybe 3 quarterbacks play and on the field at the same time. Give me the Baltimore Ravens. I think they win behind a bloody and punishing running game. I think they hit the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right in the mouth. I think they're going to be tired. I think this Ravens team coming off a draining overtime loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, I think that affects them. I don't think they get off to a hot start. I think Tampa does get some points early in this game, but Baltimore comes back. They rally. They end up getting a second-half comeback in this game. I'll go with the Ravens to win, but trust me, this game could be competitive. Everybody's writing off the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're dangerous. Watch out. Well, it doesn't get more emotional than what the Dolphins did last week over the New England Patriots on that wild play, the lateral, to get into the end zone, what they call the Miracle of Miami. I know our buddy Rhett Lewis likes to call it the South Beach Stunna, and he doesn't even put an ER on the end of that, Buck. It's just a Stunna with a double N and an A. But a very emotional win for them. They go on the road to take on a Vikings team that is absolutely reeling right now. Could do nothing offensively, and yes, they've just fired their offensive coordinator. So a lot of turmoil there with the Minnesota Vikings. When I look at the key here for the Miami Dolphins, though, to me, look, it's being able to get Ryan Tannehill in a rhythm early in this game against a very good defensive front. They've had a lot of injuries up front along that offensive line for the Dolphins. So be able to protect him early in this game. Ryan Tannehill, get the ball out of your hands quick. Let guys run after the catch. I don't think you want to hold it too long against this Minnesota front. Yeah, for Minnesota, it's about trying to figure out how can they best utilize the weapons that they have on offense. New offense coordinator has to think players over plays. The ball has to go to Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs, and Kyle Rudolph. They should be the only ones that touch it. Anybody else touches it, it should be by accident. If they do that, I think they can get a big win against the Miami Dolphins. They have to find a way to simplify the game and just let their players win games. Don't try and out-scheme other teams. All right, who do you like? Who do you like to win this one? You going with the Vikings?
I'm going to go from the Vikings. I think the Vikings will get a little juice from the firing. That puts everyone on notice. We've seen teams kind of respond when that urgent nature kind of hits them. I'm going to go with the Vikings in this one.
Yeah, the Dolphins are surprisingly competitive each and every week, still alive here.
I still
chasing
don't know
the postseason. I don't know how either. I don't get it. When you look at the roster, I don't know how they're pulling this off. But they have been. I don't think they win this game, though. I think the Minnesota Vikings, a desperate Minnesota Vikings team, and new offensive coordinator, Kevin Stefanski, get the win at home against the Dolphins. Raiders-Bengals, two teams really playing for draft position at this point in time in the season, Buck. But when I look at the Raiders, the key in this ballgame, haven't seen this Bengals team up close last week. You got to find a way to slow down Joe Mixon. For all the struggles and the injuries they've had with that Cincinnati offense, he is still a legit top 5 talent at the running back position. You've got to take him away, force Jeff Driscoll to throw the ball, and you should be able to win some matchups. Some of these young defensive linemen for the Oakland Raiders should be able to win some one-on-one matchups against the Cincinnati Bengals O-line. But you don't get a chance to rush if you can't stop Joe Mixon on first down. That's the key.
That is the key. Oakland Raiders have a lot of juice because now John Gruden officially owns the squad. He's got everybody out the building.
One-man band.
It is his team. So with the Cincinnati Bengals, they have to finish strong for Marvin Lewis to continue to retain his job. I think they'll play hard. It has to be about Joe Mixon to take some of the pressure off Jeff Driscoll. Joe Mixon is everything that we talked about. He is spectacular. He has to have 150 scrimmage yards for the Bengals to have any chance of winning this game. I'm going to pick the Bengals over the Raiders. Since I did all that and I said Joe Mixon scores the winning touchdown to get the Bengals to win.
Boy, I tell you what, this is a weird spot to be in for the Raiders because I think they win the football game. I don't think they're going to be excited about it because it's going to cost them some draft position. I think the Raiders find a way, get this, back-to-back wins for your Oakland Raiders. Said it here first. All right, NFC West matchup here with the Seahawks taking on the 49ers. And, Buck, this Seattle team, man, it wasn't easy on the eyes watching that game the other night against the Minnesota Vikings, but they find a way to get it done. That's what they do. They're tough, they're gritty, they're physical. I think the key to this ball game, again, comes down to Seahawks establishing that run game, controlling the line of scrimmage, even controlling the clock. Because this 49ers offense can be a little bit dangerous. I know there's a lot of missing pieces there, but they can still be explosive at times. So I look for that ball control to keep going here for the Seattle Seahawks. Run the football, win the line of scrimmage, especially up front on offense. That's the key.
For the 49ers, it's about trying to find a way to continue to make big plays. They've been able to get big plays with George Kittle. I think George Kittle has to be the guy to kind of build the game plan around. Let him work the middle of the field, see if they can get a few plays over the top of the defense. This Seattle team is tough, and the last time they matched up, it wasn't pretty. But maybe, just maybe, in the next go-around, the San Francisco 49ers play a little better. I do believe they'll play better, but I still think the Seahawks are the better team. I think they will continue to roll and surprisingly make their way into the playoffs because I don't think anybody saw it at the beginning of the year.
Now, the Seahawks team will be a 4 or 5 win team before the season started. They have been one of the biggest surprises in the NFL. I do think, though, division game, this is a 49ers team. Remember last year, they played pretty well finishing up the season with a lot of backups on the field. I think they make this game very competitive. This is dangerous here for the Seahawks. And you better lock in. You better bring your A game. But I think they control that line of scrimmage really on both sides. And they win a low-scoring affair. I'll go with Seattle to win this one on the road. This is going to be a fun game. Titans going to take on the Giants, a Giants team that's really as hot as any team in the NFL right now, the way they've been playing as of late. And a Titans team that desperately needs to win this ball game to hold on to their postseason aspirations. And when I look at the key to this game, to me, you look defensively. The front seven for the Tennessee Titans has to be sound, have to be solid. No explosive plays. If you allow Saquon Barkley to get loose for these 20-plus yard runs, you're not going to win this football game. You've got to find a way to secure the tackle, be firm, be sound, be gap, show your gap integrity up front in that front seven. Mike Vrabel, that's his area of expertise. That's what they're going to need to rely on to get this win.
Has to be all about Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley has established himself as the best offensive player on that Giants team. He and Odell Beckham can vie for 1A and 1B, but I love what they're doing. I think you continue to allow number 26 to kind of set the tone for the offense. Everyone else is kind of playing off of him. The one thing that you have to do with the Tennessee Titans, you got to be ready for a physical affair. I think the Giants are ready. It's not too late. It's not too late for me to be right about printing the shirts. Maybe, just maybe, they run them off, and they finish 8-8 and they win the division. I'm still holding out hope on the Giants to get another win against the Titans.
Well, that theory, Buck, I'm going to do what Derrick Henry did on that run last week. I'm going to hit you with a hard, stiff arm and say there is zero chance that is going to happen. I actually think Derrick Henry leads the Titans here. They go beat a hot Giants team on the road. They were physical. They were the more physical team last week. I think they're the more physical team this week. I like the Titans to get the win. Well, this is the one we've all been waiting for, that big matchup here between the Redskins and the Jags. And who doesn't want to fork over some money to go watch Josh Johnson take the field and battle against Cody Kessler, Buck? I know this makes the hair on my arm stand up a little bit. Cannot wait for this one to get started. How about you?
I'm really excited about it. I like both of these quarterbacks. I'm excited to see what they do because they're going to specialize in handing the ball off to whatever tailback is behind.
Yeah, the key to this ball game to me is the Redskins, you cannot run enough. Just continue to run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. This game should be over in about an hour and a half with both these teams, the way they want to play. So it's going to be a conservative approach. I can't see either one of these teams being very aggressive down the field. I hate to play. It's kind of a defeated way to say this. I hate to play this way, but yeah, you're playing not to lose if you're the Washington Redskins. It's conservative. It's run the ball. You punt, that's fine. You're just going to sit here. It's a game of chicken. Which one of these offenses is going to screw up first? If I'm the Washington Redskins, I'm going to make sure that's not them.
Well, the Washington Redskins have to play this game like it's Tecmo Bowl, meaning they only have 4 plays because their quarterbacks don't know much of anything. So this should be an easier game plan for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Just make sure that you take Adrian Peterson away, put the game on Josh Johnson and see if he can win it. Defensively, they got to play for more pride. They got to make sure that everyone is committed to playing because there's going to be major changes in the offseason. You want to make sure you play well. I think the defense plays lights out. The changes may just come on the offensive side. I'm going to go with the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars are just a little bit better for whatever reason. I don't know, but I'm going to go with the Jags.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Jaguars. They've got so much more talent, sprinkled throughout their roster. It's got to be
they do, but they haven't played great
shows
at
up.
all.
I know, but then they shut out the Colts a couple weeks ago, so maybe that's.
But then they get
I don't know,
bullied by the Tennessee Titans on TV. So I don't know what to do with them.
Don't ask me to believe any of these teams. I've got to pick a winner. I'm doing it. I'm picking the Jags.